I'm going to start by saying that I'm pro-choice, and if people want there to be provided abortions and provided health care in that regard, that I think that's just fine, and I support that if they want to do that. And I live in Philadelphia where abortion is provided, and that's fine. I wouldn't change anything about that because, the people here want that. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't suggest that they would do that, but, that's not my final say. But here's the thing. She wasn't setting a precedent on that idea. Although she might be and her intentions are good, and I believe that your intentions are good and we both agree with the same thing, here's why we can't go about it that way. The doctor can't be sued. The doctor can't be sued if it isn't life-threatening because it doesn't need to be life-threatening. Risking death is one of the exemptions, but then it says or, which means something else, or poses a serious, substantial impairment of major bodily function. Like I said in the video I posted right before this, her fertility was at risk. That qualifies. You don't need to go to court to get permission, so the court can't give you permission. That's why she was denied. Also, you take this stipulation right here and replace it with heart surgery, you wouldn't have any problem with this stipulation. Heart surgery being illegal, right, unless by reasonable medical judgment, instead of pregnancy, the patient with heart condition has life-threatening or physical condition, or arising with the heart condition that puts the patient at risk of death or poses a serious substantial impairment of bodily function. You would agree that that should be the only stipulation on getting heart surgery. You don't think that every other person out there should just be able to be qualified to give someone heart surgery. They shouldn't be able to lie about it, so there has to be some sort of law against it. And the only reason he was trying to penalize them with the law is because of the way they went about it. He's penalizing anyone involved. If they would have got that abortion, the judge would have been charged for illegally giving approval for an abortion that she doesn't have any right to do. He's not a doctor. The government, like you say in this post right here, how could you see this as a healthcare issue if you want the government involved? They're saying it's banned for everyone to give an abortion. Can't get an abortion unless it's approved by a doctor, pretty much. That's all it's saying. What you're saying is that it should be provided through taxes as a right, which doesn't make sense as a legal right. The government in our country can't provide rights or strip them. So what you're asking is for them to provide the service of abortion, which I don't think is a good idea. Because the only way we can do that is by putting taxes towards it. Now, like roads and like other government-funded programs, those things are within the taxpayers' invested interests. As a taxpayer paying taxes, I have investment on the roads and other government things. So what you're saying is the taxpayers and the government should have control of your reproductive health care rights, which would at that point not be rights. It would be something that the government provides with tax-paying money, which can't be indefinite and could be taken away. So you're saying you want the government to provide people health care on that thing mandatorily, and that could lead to the government putting more policy on protecting those rights, where there could be some sort of loophole where you lose those rights. Let's say you don't have the funding for those facilities anymore. Anyone that has used them is in a list, and they're going to take the money back from the people who were provided those government-funded programs. And if they can't provide the money, they go to jail. So there you see a bunch of women going to jail for getting abortion that was provided by the government, where they should have just had it in between them and their doctor in the first place. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not trying to convince you anything. I'm just putting the facts out there. And as a libertarian, you should really agree with me. Because unfortunately, I'm not saying you're a fascist, but you are supporting fascist policies that are disguised as liberal ones.